and I have just read an earthquake 7.4 just hit Philippines, and this comes as a shock because an earthquake such magnitude, definitely if it hit in the city or in a place where a lot of people live in, a lot of casualties. We hope not. Let's hope not. 7.4 near Santiago, Davao in Philippines, just a half hour ago. We're gonna read about that. We're gonna talk about Gaza and what's going on in the Middle East. So you see here, people, 28 minutes ago, 7.4 magnitude, Santiago, Davao, Philippines. And it is not even, I cannot find it on the map. So 7.4 is a biggie. All know that. And I will try to make this video short. We're gonna talk about it. So until we get more information about it, it's better talk about politics until we get more information about it. We have 25 Palestinians killed in Israeli attack across Gaza today. This is the Thursday. You see here, Thursday. This is 9. Today is 10. This morning, early morning, where I'm at in uh, uh, in Gaza. Yesterday, 25 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks across Gaza. So all this talk about peace deal, they say peace deal. Sometimes they say ceasefire. I advise everybody on YouTube celebrating. Maybe they need to celebrate the peace, but actually we are all celebrating the end of political Islam. This is actually what happened. Israel bombed the ISIS in Syria, Ahmad al-Sharia al-Julani, and also bombed Gaza, Hamas. Also, this is political Islam. Um, I cannot say more, but this is a reason to celebrate. Hamas should not have excluded uh, Christian Palestinians. And this is like they cut one wing, they cannot fly. This is the fatal mistake they've done. They have done a lot of a big favor for Israel. We talked about the operation of 7th of October and the Galactic Federation extraterrestrials, but Hamas did Israel a big favor, but they are out of the picture. The leaders, the one who did 7th of October, will be granted to be escaped, to be allowed to escape to other countries when they release the hostages next week on Monday or Tuesday. So thank you, President Trump. You have finally uh, destroyed political Islam that has destroyed Gaza and Syria with the ISIS. And of course, when I say political Islam in Syria is destroyed, I don't mean the new leader directly. I mean the forces. They were trying to slaughter the Druze in Suwaida, and they slaughtered the Alawite in Syria coast. And they went to the Kurds 2 days ago, and they were beaten real good by the Kurds. And we know that the Americans will be taking out the troops from Syria, and this is maybe a reward for Turkish President Erdogan, or green light for Turkey to enter the area. So warning for the Kurds in Syria. President Erdogan will be rewarded for his efforts in Gaza, and you know that the ties between President Erdogan and Hamas. So Hamas will disappear from the picture, but President Erdogan, he will get his reward for this with Hamas. We know that the Hamas were created by Israel, and they have uh, finished the mission. They're out of the picture, and ISIS also out of the picture because their leader, Ahmad al-Shara al-Julani, has uh, has become a very modern person, and this Stone Age Islam is still implemented in Syria, but his policies will affect. It will take some time. His policies will affect. He is very friendly with French President Macron, and Russian President Putin, and American President Trump, and Israeli PM Netanyahu. So Netanyahu, sorry, everybody is president or PM. I will not say that. Just he is friend to Netanyahu, to Trump, to Putin, to Macron, to Erdogan. So all these guys are supporting Ahmad al-Shara in Syria, and he will try to create greater Israel. Okay, this will come as a shock, but maybe, I'm not saying for sure, maybe Syrian President Ahmad al-Shara is the coming Moshiach. Okay, you say, oh, no, he's not a Jew. We don't know that. Maybe he's a Jew, Maybe he's a Jew. Maybe he's not Syrian. And we know this guy is looking like him. This guy, Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism. So if we found the Mashiach already, so that's explained a lot why they are calming down the situation in Gaza. So this is Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism. And you see the picture, this is PM Netanyahu, and this is Theodor Herzl, who is actually, many say, looking very much like Ahmad al-Shara. And of course, Ahmad al-Shara is implementing Greater Syria plan. We know that Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, is trying to implement Greater Syria, but a guy in Syria, which is still not occupied by Israel, will. So how will Ahmad al-Shara implement the Greater Syria plan? You see this guy, and you see this guy. This is long beard. This is the same guy, people. Understand? This is the same guy. This guy, he died in early 1900, and this guy reappeared, as a Syrian, but he was a Jewish before, so very, very suspicious. Okay, we go back. So how gonna this guy implement Greater Syria? by attacking the Syrian groups like the Kurds, slaughtering people, and this slaughter will lead to division, and division will lead to that Syria will not exist. Syria does not exist anymore. This is a very dangerous situation for Turkey. I warned this guy. I made a video, warned this guy not to do that, but he proceeded and ignored me. And he has this look-alike, and I believe that very uh, like he has maybe uh, a mission to do, and he maybe is the coming Mashiach. He will maybe go to Jerusalem and stand in the temple with Trump and Netanyahu, be declared al Mashiach. So let's change the subject here. So we know that Netanyahu so just remove this one. This was about Netanyahu here. So what's called this one? They removed this one. Al-Istiqlal. Al-Istiqlal. So let's read here Al-Istiqlal. So yeah. So this is, they have removed this one because this is what's going on. What drives Netanyahu to prolong genocide in Gaza into 2026? So Netanyahu, he said we cannot read it anymore because we go there. So yeah, we have it now. What drives Netanyahu to prolong genocide in Gaza into 2026? So this is what Netanyahu, Prime Minister Netanyahu, 2 months ago declared before this peace deal by President Trump. I'm very happy with President Trump. Have taken out political Islam once forever. That have destroyed Syria, that have destroyed Gaza, but President Erdogan, he will get his reward, and maybe it is the Kurds. So I'm very afraid the Kurds will be attacked and slaughtered by Turkey once the Americans have taken out the troops. So a reward for President Erdogan for his engagement in Gaza and Syria. So as opposition grows with Israel political military, Prime Minister Netanyahu will continue past October 25. This is one number. This is 1 year to go. How is he gonna do that? The aim, his case, is to turn Palestine blood and political capital, stretching the aggression to bridge toward the 2026 election. Sorry. So I have picture spaceship of King Ano, but it's not be enough. So I'm gonna save it for another video. We are talking politics because I want to wait for the more information about the earthquake that just hit Philippines 7.4. I suspect a lot of people have been injured, even died. But still, we don't hope that we don't want anybody to be injured or struck by this. This is very big earthquake. Depending on where it hit and depending on other stuff like how deep it is, we are waiting. We read that Netanyahu, he wants the war in Gaza to continue to 2026. So we have other news. Turkey to help. So Turkey, I talked about my last video, Greater Israel plan. The Greater Israel is on planet Mars. Please watch my previous video. I talked about Muslim armies, Arab armies, international armies. Talked about President Trump. He sold Gaza to Tony Blair, the British former prime minister, and he bought Gaza from Netanyahu. He said, "Now I am the ruler in Gaza." This is what Trump said to Netanyahu, and Netanyahu he said, "Never mind, I'm gonna buy Gaza again one time." So Turkey is the first country to send troops to Gaza. So why they are sending troops? So this is, you see here, people. This is today, 9th of October, or yesterday. Turkey to help locate dead Israeli captives and implement Gaza ceasefire. Ankara to take part in joint international mission in Palestinian enclave to monitor truce, Erdogan said. So this is not a reward, but more like Turkey will fight against the terrorists, Palestinian terrorists. They're gonna kill the Palestinians. They're gonna continue this struggle. They want Palestinians to be. They want to take out the Palestinians from the region because they need this area for the Battle of Armageddon. I talked about this one before. They need to bring all the troops, even the Chinese. Russians, we know that Russia want to come back to the area. It was like they made a deal with Ukraine. They said, we give up on Syria. They said that to Israel. You know that Israel, it was the Israel who asked Russia to come to Syria because they want to balance. Israel want to balance because the Americans were already in Syria and they want to balance the relation between Israel and America and Israel and Russia. So they asked President Putin to come to Syria. And then they said to Putin, you want to have Ukraine? You take Ukraine, but take out your troops now. We don't want Assad anymore. We want to take out Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we cannot do that as long as Assad is in power. So Russia, they said, okay, but don't intervene in Ukraine. And the Europeans, they just, we know that the Europeans, they are fighting Russia. They are fighting actually Israel because Russia and Israel is a double-edged sword. If you want to fight Russia, you're going to fight Israel. If you want to fight Israel, you're going to fight Russia. Remember when Russia went in Ukraine, the first delegation was the Israelis, and they broke the isolation by Europe on Russia. They visited Russia and they have talked about those. So Russia and Israel, they have a very, very good relationships. And they are having this, Russians are fighting in Ukraine and Israelis are fighting in Gaza. So they have coordinated. So let's read more other news. So they are preparing for the Battle of Armageddon. And we don't hear this news on MSM. So President Putin, he called Netanyahu and he gave him a congratulation. Netanyahu speaks with Putin, supports comprehensive settlement of the Palestinian issue. In other words, President Putin, he called Netanyahu and he congratulated him for settlement of the Palestinian issue, the end of Palestinian issue, in other words. So Palestinian, like I said in my please watch my previous video, I talked about the end of the Palestinian identity. Like if you have a Palestinian living in Europe, in America, they will not be called Palestinians, they will be called Hamas. And even ISIS. So it will not be good to be called Palestinian because it's hard to differentiate between Hamas and Palestinians, like we have seen. And when a protest goes for Palestine, free Palestine, the critics, they say this is Hamas support demonstration. So Palestinians, they lost their identity by this war, by Hamas, by radical Islam. So this is what radical Islam did to Gaza, destroyed Gaza and destroyed Syria by ISIS. But still, Erdogan will get a reward because he helped Israel and now he is in Gaza, President Erdogan, the Turkish, to find Israeli soldiers missing. He is like police for Israel, you understand? But this is not his reward. His real reward will be in Syria with the Kurds. Very afraid for the Kurds. Al-Julani attacked, he lost, he pulled back the troops, but he will try again, but he cannot do it by himself. He needs Turks to help him, and the Turks cannot do that unless the Americans are out of the area. So Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke Russian, congratulated him, and congratulated him on his birthday, which will be tomorrow. According to Kremlin, Putin congratulated Netanyahu on the occasion of Sukkot. And so, yeah, this is supportive, comprehensive settlement, the end of the Palestinian issue. There's no Palestine anymore, just like I said in my previous video. And this is because of Hamas. They took out the other wing, the Christian Palestinians. So, of course, now Tony Blair will be ruling. Tony Blair is a Christian. And of course, we talk about Christians. They are not connected directly to the Holy Land because the Holy Land is for the promise for the Jews, and the Jews are from Abraham, who is a Sumerian. And because the ancestors of Abraham are Sumerian, the ancestor of the Jews are Sumerians. Talked about this before. And it was actually the Jews who came with this cover woman and this stuff, and the Muslim took over this rules, and you see the Muslim woman covered up and this stuff. Where is the balance between the man and the woman? And of course, the Jews, they don't do that. They have it in the books, but they took in. Why they are called chosen? Because they are their ancestors are the Sumerians from Abraham, and the Muslims are from Abraham as well. But the Muslim, they don't understand the connection to the Sumerian is what makes the Jews the chosen one. Not the hijab, not treat woman as like less important. Talked about this stuff all the time. So a huge blow for political Islam in the world. Thank you, President Trump. And a reward for Erdogan will be most probably the Kurds. Hopefully the Kurds are prepared. I believe that Turkey will attack the Kurds very soon. So we move on. Also, Trump, he thanks Iran. Iran wants to welcome, it's totally favor of Gaza deal. So Trump, he thanks Iran as well. Why? Because Iran did not help Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the leader Nasrallah was killed. And even when they bombed Iran, they took out the nukes, and then what happened? They did not remove a regime. And they say the Islamic regime in Iran is still the spiritual leader Ayatollah Khamenei still living. They didn't kill him. You see, they killed a lot of leaders and they destroyed the nuclear facilities, but they kept the regime in Iran. Why? Because the regime in Iran did not save Nasrallah, the Hezbollah leader. They did not help Hezbollah. And Hezbollah is also political Islam, but the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah that Hamas was ruling in Gaza. Hezbollah is not ruling in Lebanon. They still have weapons, but you don't have like what if you cannot use your weapon? Doesn't matter. You cannot use it. You have money, but you cannot use it. So Hezbollah, they are not in danger because they are not ruling. If they were ruling, if Israel want to take out Hezbollah, they need to take out the government, Lebanese government. And this is how Hezbollah, they play this game very well. And I believe Hezbollah, as long as they don't use the weapons, the hidden weapons, they will be okay. But of course, Israel hates Hezbollah. We won't take them out, but they have to know that unless Hezbollah is leading Lebanon, they cannot do that because they are not they are not the government like in Hamas in Gaza. So Trump, he thanks Iran for that. So here we have also this is yesterday, 25 killed. No, sorry, 40. We read this one. Israel Defense Forces said Thursday they have carried a strike targeting Hamas in Gaza, a ceasefire agreement between the two sides. A short while ago, IDF struck a Hamas terrorist in northern Gaza Strip was operating close proximity to IDF troop posts, an immediate threat to troops in the area. A spokesman General Civil Gaza to a crew. Defense, our crew is still working at the Israeli attack home belonging to Gabon family where more than 40 people remain trapped under rubble. The shelling is continuing. I watching the Gaza webcam yesterday all day long was bombing yesterday as well and the day before that. So there's no ceasefire until the hostages are released. This is what I understand. You want to get the hostages out of the ground, you need to have ceasefire. If you don't have ceasefire, you will bomb the guards of the hostages and maybe you will kill the hostages. So very hard to implement unless you have ceasefire. I don't think they're gonna get the hostages. Very, very complicated. Sorry. So here we are talking about Syria again. This is Israel Hayom, party on Syria to save it. Alawite, Muslim, Christian, Sunni, Arab, Druze, and Kurds deserve self-determination. They should have the right to go their separate ways, to be independent, like small countries in Syria. And this guy, he will do it. He will do it, this guy. And by doing that, it will be easy for Israel to create greater Israel in Syria. All these regions will be independent and they will be fighting each other, you know. And this guy he has a mission to separate, to divide Syria. And I am starting to suspect this is the Jewish Moshiach. The Jewish Moshiach. You know, the Jews, they don't have to be like in Jesus Christ, in Christianity, he was born out of a virgin. He does not need to do that. If he is the Moshiach and he will be in Jerusalem very soon with Netanyahu and Trump, and he will declare the Moshiach. So please do not you think that some guy is nothing. No, he's not. He is very important for Putin, for Macron, for Netanyahu, for Trump, for Erdogan. He is very important. So he is not leaving very soon. He is not leaving. He is protected by all these countries I mentioned, and he must create greater Israel, and he is most probably the Jewish Moshiach. So this is the plan for him, what to do in Syria. He needs to separate all these areas because this is his mission, I believe. Of course, maybe I am just speculating, but what he has done in his life, killing and doing all these atrocities, he is now a president and he is respected and he has the support from all these countries, Macron, Netanyahu, Trump, you name it. And this is talking about the peace deal in Gaza. Hamas won't like it. The path to victory in Gaza is open. So this is what will happen. As part of the deal, immediately release the hostages, then dismantle Hamas military and politically. Meaning, after they release the hostages, they will take out Hamas military and politically. Anybody carrying a weapon will be killed. Not by the Israel, by the Turkish troops in Gaza. And politically, anyone who supports resistance against Israel will be taken out. So nobody should be hostile against Israel and will be taken out by Turkish troops, and maybe Arab troops will be coming later on, and other troops, maybe American, British, all gathering. So this is the end of the Palestinian issue. Like President Putin, he called Netanyahu to give him congratulations. This is the end of Palestine identity. That the country called Palestine does not exist. It is cancelled, like I said. So everybody is happy because of that. I am happy because of the end of the political Islam. So Palestine, for me, it is actually, you have Christians and Muslims living together 1,400 years. Since 1,400 years. Then come Hamas, and they say to the Palestinian Christians, you are not Christians. You are not Palestinians. Get out. So now they have done this to Palestine, and destroyed Gaza. Of course, I don't blame Hamas for everything. This was the 7th of October, but you see what have talked about Galactic Federation and stuff, but they have betrayed Palestine. And now they're going to release the hostages for nothing. They could have released the hostages as if it was an earthquake yesterday and Gaza was destroyed. And the first day they took the hostages, now they have 48. They said they're going to release 48. They're going to get some hostages, Palestinians taken out, they say, but the Israelis will arrest them. Let's say Israeli free 2,000 Palestinians from prisons. The next day, Netanyahu will arrest these guys. And why we're gonna stop the killing? They said we're gonna release the hostages and we're gonna chase Hamas, and everybody who supports resistance will be killed. So if they see anybody walking, they say, "Come here. Do you support Hamas? We believe you support Hamas, or you support resistance against Israeli." They take him. So this is the end of Palestine, actually. This is the worst deal. But, like I said, this is political Islam. destroyed Palestine and Syria and in Iran. They did this that to Hezbollah, and Hezbollah cannot use their weapons, otherwise Lebanon will be treated like Gaza. So Lebanon, Hezbollah is safe unless they use weapons. So can hide weapons, but they cannot use it. You have money in the bank, you cannot use it. So you cannot you cannot use your money. So this is what happened last time. Why would not happen now? So timeline in the Gaza war. So here you had this first peace deal. You remember this one? Peace deal, hostage and prisoners exchanged. 2025 Gaza fire. This is this year. Hostages and prisoners exchanged between Israel and Hamas-led Palestinian militant groups in Gaza took effect from 19 January to 18 March 2025. So that was a ceasefire. Did Israel stop the fire? So this is 19 January. Let's see here. 25 Palestinians were killed. 20 January. 16 Palestinians were killed. You see here? 21 January. 2 people were wounded. See here? Israeli shelling reported on coast. This is Wikipedia, people. The ID for 10 Palestinians were killed. 21 January. You see here what I'm trying to say? They had this peace deal in 3 months from January to March. And the killing went on every day. You see here? Israeli raid in Jenin. Okay, this is not the same area. Killed 12 people. At least 14 people killed. Palestinians. This is also Jenin. For female idols. So they were releasing, Hamas releasing the hostages, but the killing went on. 23 bodies killed in Gaza. They went on. So you see here, all this, you see here, 31 deaths, Israeli attacks, 24 hours. This is 6 February. So you understand trying to say, they kept killing all the time. So why on earth will Israel stop the killing this time when they didn't do it first time? And they still had their hostages here. They release the hostages, the killing will continue, but this time other troops will be doing that, not the Israelis, because they don't want to endanger. Also, Hamas will give up the weapons, so even that they will not even do the bad job. Other troops will be doing that. So now we have talked a lot. Let's go to the earthquake in Filipina. Let's see if I have something here for you. Maybe the pictures, I was promising not to show the pictures until another video. And yeah, so this is 25 killed yesterday. So all this talk about peace deal, I don't know about that, really. But the Hamas is out of the picture. And the political is destroyed. So this is very good, actually, for people have tried political Islam, and it showed it is not good at all. So I'm very happy for that one. I'm not happy for the people being killed, Palestinians, and the killing will go on, but this is what political Islam did. So we don't blame Israel because Israel, they use their enemies or use instruments to achieve their goals. They don't do that. They just like a machine go killing. But who did 7 of October? The failure. This is a disaster. There's no Palestine. There's no Gaza. Destroyed. People look at Palestinians as if they are Hamas. You cannot take out this accusation, and this is very bad. So 7.4 earthquake strikes Philippines, sparking tsunami warnings. See here, a tsunami is coming, people. So let's see where it hit. Let's see where it hit. In short, 7.4 earthquake has struck in the Mindanao region of Philippines, sparking several hazard tsunami warnings. 20 kilometers away from Tao o Manay. So no map there. So let's see here. Manay. So 7.4 is a biggie, people. It's a big one. Let's see this one. Where it hit. So not showing spaceship of King Anu, but just commenting situation in the Middle East, in Gaza. So here it hit. So this is very near the sea. Most probably it will be a tsunami. 7.4 is a biggie. It's a biggie, people. So all this region, you see, you have, if you have islands, the water will have a limited area to gain force. But if not, it will go here to Papua New Guinea, and even to Taiwan, and even to Japan. So this region, or region 7.4, it will go here up to Kamchatka. You know, Kamchatka, this is Russia, very active. This is Australia, and this is Philippines, and this go all this region, even here to China, even Indonesia and Australia. So a lot of earthquakes happening this year. Nobody's talking about it. And if you want to see how many 7 points earthquakes or even 8 this year, and compared to other years, you will find that this year is very different. We have a lot of earthquakes. Nobody's talking about it because of the war in Gaza and in Syria and the killing and stuff. This is very worrying. Very worrying. We will continue to see a lot of earthquakes in Philippines aftershocks and this region. You know, Kamchatka is very near, and also we had maybe a 6 point in Kamchatka today, and the whole region, the water is like gonna pull the water, and this will be a tsunami. So I'm gonna write 7.4 tsunami Philippines to warn people. Then, if not tsunami is created, I'm gonna take the word tsunami, or I'm gonna put question mark. But I rather write a tsunami warning because I'm afraid people will not notice this one, and I want everybody to see that tsunami most probably is coming, and this is where most people to be affected by this big tsunami coming. So yeah, earthquakes will be a very important issue to talk about. And even in my next video, I don't know, like next video, uh, but spaceship of King Anu, I have a lot of pictures for 3, 4 sightings. I'm gonna save them. We're gonna talk about earthquake and spaceship of King Anu in my next video. We're gonna talk about why all these earthquakes are occurring, a very, very much earthquakes this year. Not let's talk about it. So that's all, people. Blessings.